the ultimate sacrifice, blow themselves up. And whatever we may have done so far, up to now, it seems that we are not making much of headway. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not surprised at all that we have not, because all the means that we have used up to now, they have been inappropriate, woefully inadequate, some of them counterproductive. We have always talked to them. Regardless of how we describe them, they are extremists, fundamentalists, terrorists, they have an agenda. Ultimately, we stop calling names and we talk to them, Northern Ireland, Palestine, Kashmir, Sri Lanka, and now lately we are in dialogue with the Taliban. The timing is one of the very important things. When do you talk to them? Of course, you cannot talk to any such organization that carries out one explosion in the marketplace and you say, come and sit with us and talk to them. Only once you are quite convinced that this is a genuine, in the sense that it has a following, it has a cause that appeals to some people, that is when you start talking to them. But even then, are they on the ascent? Are they getting better during the last 5-6 years? If they are, then hurry up, talk to them before they get too strong and start dictating even worse terms. But even if they are on the decline, as some people claim that we've got them on the run, so many of them have been destroyed, even then, my suggestion, ladies and gentlemen, would be talk to them before they get desperate. In any case, the old wisdom says, do not humiliate your opponent before he comes on the negotiating table. Face saving is required on both sides. Right. I just wanted to take two quick points. There is a moral argument that I like to say. We are the ones who created such organizations. We did something wrong, inadequacies, our deficiencies created them. And lastly, and don't tell anyone outside this hall, we are already talking to them.
General Durrani, thank you very much. If you are talking to them, it shows how singularly unsuccessful you've been in changing their minds about anything, doesn't it?
We are preparing the ground, Tim. We are preparing the ground, so ultimately
well,
America's national intelligence will only take place.
America's national intelligence estimate, which is barely 2 months old, says that Al-Qaeda has regenerated key elements of its homeland attack capability. If you're talking to them, as I say, it's not having much good, is it?
Till the talks become more substantial, where we do recognize that they have to be talked to and talked to at the level where these decisions would be taken, till that time, those secret channels can only prepare the environment, find out how the negotiations will go, make a little sense of what these people will ultimately settle down for.
You talk to the Taliban. You've been talking to the Taliban for years.
Certainly.
The Taliban are now attacking in greater strength than they have at any time since the American invasion. Again, that's not having much effect, is it?
Yeah, I mean, the military actions against the Taliban actually are the ones that are creating an effect in which their sympathy is increasing, their cadres are enhancing.
So the
more and more people joining
talks
them.
are failing. This is my point. The talks failed with the Taliban. The talks are failing with Al-Qaeda. You're getting no results apart from making both organizations stronger.
If these talks only could succeed, we would never have an Oslo.
Who do you talk to? When you say
that
talk
is
to
something.
who
that
do
is,
you talk
yeah,
to?
I mean, you start, certainly not, you don't, in the first place, start talking to al-Zawahiri or Osama bin Laden. You talk to the right type of people who will ensure that once the decision is taken, then we will have the right
people who are living
partners.
in the Northwest Frontier Province, who you know perfectly well.
Yeah.
The Taliban leaders and the Al-Qaeda leaders, you know where they are.
And that is why
you know where to find them.
Every few weeks, every few months, that is why we make a peace arrangement. There are such agreements that are done. Usually the violation is from the state, because the state has a big
always
ego.
broken. It's not exactly a ringing endorsement for talks. General Durrani, thank you very much indeed. Now could I ask Adam Holloway, please, to speak against the motion?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm against this motion because I believe that Al-Qaeda have no achievable goals. They've developed their own version of Islam, and they have a totally destructive agenda that even when all the other grievances in the region are sorted out, will still be there. Now, I'm a former British soldier, and it was a big thing in Britain for governments to negotiate with the IRA, the murderers of the IRA. But you know what? It brought peace, thank God. But these guys were rational actors, and there was the scope for compromise on both sides. In South Africa, the Waite government negotiated with the ANC because they had something to talk about. There's a huge amount for the Israelis and the Palestinians also to talk about. But these were all groups that had rational leaders with achievable goals who were prepared to compromise, and they were often from the elected mainstream. But how do you negotiate with Al-Qaeda? I mean, what do you talk to them about? You don't exactly sit down in a conference room with lots of bottles of Evian water, do you? I mean, what's the agenda? You know, are we going to talk about this place and decide whether or not the city of Doha is going to be a liberal or not so liberal caliphate? I mean, how does it work? And, you know, we mustn't forget that it is not just about Western debts. It's actually about thousands of Iraqis. It's about people 100 miles down the road in Saudi Arabia. It's about what happened in Pakistan yesterday. But sadly for many people, Al-Qaeda has become a sort of a flag, a symbol for lots of other grievances that are out there. Well, of course we need to resolve these grievances, and we've got to do particularly ones like Palestine, but we've got to do it so that we leave these psychotic murderers, extremists, as rebels without a cause anymore. And I really think we make a huge mistake if we build up the importance of Al-Qaeda and their fascism by giving them any sort of credibility by talking to them. We need to sort out the problems. So I think the challenge for all of us now is actually to listen and engage with the thousands of established voices